Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to share with you my Tri-Brigade's Lunalight deck. Basically because, well, I finally have the cards, we have Tiger back to 1, and I actually just wanted to play the combo version of the deck. But before we jump right into the video itself, I'm going to basically ask you, if you want to see more videos like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It helps a ton. You guys have been amazing. We're already like really close to reaching 4,300, which is amazing. Like, the growth has been absolutely amazing in like the last few weeks. So thank you all so much. And of course, if you basically have any comments on how to improve the list, what you will change, let me know in the comments down below, and give the like to the video if you enjoyed. But without further ado, let's jump right into the list itself. Alright, jumping right into the list itself, one last thing I would say is that I know that there are people who wanted to see the fusion version first, but I actually already did kind of recently, even before, like, you know, Tiger came back. I know that Tiger came back and everybody wants to see a fusion version, but I never really played with a combo version of Lunalights. And I actually want to try this with Tri-Brigades first, and in a later part of the year, or pretty soon even, if you guys would really demand it, we're actually going to revisit the fusion version. But for now, I just want to go with a combo version, just because I never actually played with a combo version of Lunalights before on the channel, and I thought it would be really interesting. So let's get started. Some things off, we're going to start off with the Lunalight engines first, with the 3 copies of Collider Chick, the double copies of Yellow Martin, the 1 copy of Emerald Bird, and the 1 copy of the newly unbanned Tiger. Now, there are some particular people who think that this card is so unfair, this is just going to make the deck so broken, and this will go back to the ban list in the next ban list or a few ban lists or so. I don't see that happening anytime soon, because, well, in Master Duel, this deck is even more powerful, and it doesn't really wreck anyone. And, like, you also have the entire lineup of Tri-Brigades even bigger there. And this just doesn't really do a whole lot. And also the OCG, again, like, you have this at 3 there, and it just doesn't really do a whole lot as people think. So I do think that Tiger is very powerful, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as powerful as it used to be. I definitely think it's a really good card, but I'm okay with this staying at 1 forever if people are a little bit afraid. But the point is like, this is not as strong as it used to be, so I don't think people need to be afraid of this that much. Because in Master Duel and OCG, it doesn't really break the game. I know there was a little bit different formats, but I don't think this is going to break the game here either. Because we do have ways to battle this kind of a particular card, and we have a lot of like cards that just deal with graveyards regardless anyway, so it's like, it's not as good as it used to be. Regardless, Tiger is basically, use it as your pendulum scale for most everything, if not all the time, to basically, as a soft once per turn, to target 1 Lunalight monster in your graveyard, and then special summon it, but it cannot activate its effect. And it's destroyed during the end phase. Now, one thing that I would mention is a soft once per turn for any of the dueling, or say Master Duel players, is that the soft once per turn is that every time the card leaves the field, go to your hand, then you activate it again. You could use the same effect one particular time again. It's just once per turn on the field. So if it gets back to your hand, which we do have ways to do that, this is basically becomes a card that you can just abuse 2 to 3 times in a turn. The 1 copy of Emerald Bird is just an additional really nice card if it gets sent to the graveyard by a card effect, which there is a particular Xyz monster that allow you to do that. You are able to basically revive one of your banished Lunalight monsters that or in the graveyard and special summon it. And it does have a nice effect, I guess, sometimes to unclog yourself by like sending a Lunalight card from your hand to grave and then draw a card. Sometimes you do use that, you don't really use it that much. It's mostly just here as an additional name or a follow-up if need be. The star of the show with the Tiger most of the time, which I'm finally happy that we're actually getting to do that again, is Yellow Martin. Yellow Martin allowing you to bounce any Lunalight card you control to your hand, special summon it in defense, but banish it when it leaves the field. So like I mentioned, the soft once per turn thing. You basically get to bounce specifically Tiger to your hand, and then you get to activate Tiger and use activation of Tiger effect again to get another monster reborn, which is really cool. It's also have another effect when it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, which is such a Lunalight spell and trap, which we only run the trap, but honestly it doesn't really matter that much because again we're not really using it for that effect. There is, again, an Xyz monster if you're getting stuck, but mostly it's not the main thing that you're going to do. And then the last thing, or should I say the last monster, Kaleido Chick's effect is insane. The fact that it's just a cost to send the Lunalight monsters to graveyard is just ridiculous, because our effect says that as cost, which means that any things like Effect Veiler and stuff like that are not going to stop this effect. They're only going to stop the second part of the effect, which is gaining the name by sending a Lunalight monster from your extra deck or deck to the graveyard. You don't really care about that. You just care about a Foolish Burial effect, which is awesome. Now, it does not allowing you to activate these effects, because these, like using cards as cost, doesn't trigger their effect when they're sent to the graveyard by a card effect, because it doesn't count as a card effect, it's counted as cost. It's kind of like a weird thing for anybody who is just asking. So basically, yes, it doesn't trigger their effects, but the fact that this card just sent all of these to graveyard is absolutely amazing. And that's kind of like the entire usage of the engine. Now we're going to move into the lovely, well, Tri-Brigade engines. For the Tri-Brigades, we have a little bit of a bigger engine. Originally, I actually only wanted to run 8, but I actually bumped up to 9 because of reasons. We run 3 Fractals, 2 copies of Karis, 2 copies of Kit, and then the 2 copies of Nerval. Now, there are some people who maybe make the argument that you can run 3 Nerval if you want to, but I felt like 2 is just completely fine. Kit, again, people can make the argument to only run 1, but Kit specifically plus Foolish Burial Goods, allowing you to do the best combo that I'm able to produce for you during the combo section, in which you will see what I mean. So I do like this card too, just because of that combo. If I'm opening up with a Foolish Burial Goods and Kit, I can do like a crazy combo if I want to. Nerval is just like, if you need to, you just like, again, can do the same combo, a little bit weaker, but it's kind of like almost the same thing. Again, you will see that in the combo section, so that's why I like these 2 cards at 2. Now, Nerval, I don't like it at 3 because I don't really need this card at 3. This is not Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk, and or like, you know, Tri-Brigade Zodiac, which you actually like maximize on almost all of them. Like you play one more copy of each of these. This is basically Lunalights, and in Lunalights you don't really need a 3rd copy of this, so that's why we only need to run 2. Kit is just a Foolish Burial. Like I said, sometimes it's important for a combo, so that's why we run 2. Karis is actually a lot better in this deck than other decks for, you know, the Tri-Beast archetypes, because you are using this card to discard some cards that you actually don't want in your hand to your graveyard, get this to your side of the field. This can banish up to 4, summon Ominous Omen, and is absolutely amazing. And of course, Fractal is just Fractal. It's like the card that you just use either to basically use Fractal to send a Kit, to send a Nerval, to get a Fractal, and then fill your graveyard really easily for the Tri-Brigade engine, which is crazy. But that does it for the Tri-Brigades, and then for the last 3 monsters, the Winged Beast additional support, we have 1 copy of Zephyrus the Elite, 1 copy of Singulanius, and 1 copy of Raider's Wing. I've seen some weird things that people like to run Zephyrus the Elite, Chris the Crack of Dawn, or Boar the Spear, and then a Singulanius, or this. But I'm going to say to you right now, this is the best lineup for this, because these can always activate for your combos. Zephyrus the Elite is a card that just like you have in your graveyard. I don't really always to depend of like, you know, a Black Wing in my hand to then just specifically have this on the field to special summon. I rather have it like a Raider's Wing, because Raider's Wing is just better, and then Singulanius is just whenever I summon an Xyz. And also, one thing about Raider's Wing is that if you need it for a later turn, which sometimes you do need this for like a Redoer or something, you could basically use an effect to detach a material, or just like, you know, you summon a Redoer or something, you can detach the effect from a Redoer in a later turn that you summon, and then just get this as another combo piece to your side of the field, which is really good. So I do like this card as a one-off as well. Also, it's preventing from your monsters to be targeted, so that's another bonus, I guess, like your dark monsters. But that does it for the monsters, and only for the 2 hand traps, we run 2 copies of Ash Blossom and 2 copies of DD Crow. These can be whatever you want to. I decided to go with these 4. DD Crow actually been proven up to be really annoying against the PK Adventurer token matchup. This is just really good, and Ash Blossom is just Ash Blossom. I don't really think I need to explain that one. But that does it for the monsters. Now we'll move on to the spells. And for the spells, we have, first off, the lineup that is really important. 3 copies of Lunalight Perfume, 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods, 1 copy of Tenki, 1 copy of Soul Shave Force. Now, Soul Shave Force is here because of the fact that we do run the Raid Raptor stuff, and then I'm just going to reveal all of these. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do them in one thing, which is also the Foolish Burial, the normal one, Heavy, or should I say, Harpy Feather Duster, and Cold-Blooded Grave. Cold-Blooded Grave doesn't really need any explanation. Like, this is just removal for skill drains. Foolish Burial, just to start your Tri-Brigade engine if you need to. Soul Shave Force is because of Wystrix that we're running. Tanky is at 1 because we can only run it at 1, even though in Master Duel we can run it at 3. But it's also here because of the fact that we could use this, we could use Tiger King to set this to our side of the field as a part of a combo. Foolish Burial Good, supposed to send either a Perfume or a Serenade Dance when we want to the graveyard, which is very, very helpful because all of, like, Serenade Dance, or should I say Perfume, is not a hard once per turn. And Perfume is basically a Monster Reborn for Lunalights. I wish it was, like, Lunalights combined, because that's why this card is not searchable by Yellow Marten. But the point is, this is a Monster Reborn for your Lunalights, and then you can banish it from the graveyard, discard a card, and then search any Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. And that's one of the reasons why Tiger is actually still useful, because you can add this from your deck to your hand by discarding another card. And that's it for the spells. For the traps, we have 6 of them, actually. For the traps, we have, of course, the 1 copy of Serenade Dance, as I mentioned before. The 1 copy of Revolt, because we do run Bear Broom. The 1 copy of Red Reboot, because I didn't really have any other thing I wanted to run, and again, I wanted to do with trap decks. And then, of course, the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, because it's just generally the best hand trap in the format. Now, Infinite Impermanence can also be just effect veilers if you don't have the money for that, but I really like Infinite Impermanence. And then for these cards, Serenade Dance, again, you just use it for a grave effect. Basically, you banish it and send a card from your hand to grave, or should I say discard a card, and then you're able to special summon Lunalight, any Lunalight monster you want from deck. So this can get you to a Colloidal Chick, which is amazing, so it's really powerful. We have Revolt because we can search this with Bear Broom. We don't only need the 1, although sometimes I do want the 2nd, but 1 most of the time is enough. And then Red Reboot, because Red Reboot is just, like I said, deal with annoying trap-based deck. But that does it for the main deck, and we're now can move on into the extra decks. This is a 40-card main deck, obviously. For the extra deck, though, we have first off our, well, Link package, which is running the 1 copy of Double Lord, or Double Dragon Lords, 1 copy of Wystrix, 1 copy of Ferrijit, 1 copy of Bear Broom, 1 copy of Wriggle, 1 copy of Palooza Bow of the Goddess, 1 copy of Boral Sword, which should be access code, but I'm saying this a million times, I'm not willing to pay yet for access code until it will become a little bit less expensive, and of course, the main boss himself, 2 copies of Ominous Omen, because you do use Ominous Omen as a combo piece. Yes, it sounds weird, but you do use Ominous Omen as a combo piece. It's actually kind of ridiculous, because sometimes you do use, like you see in the 3rd combo, that you use Cuirass to banish 4, to summon this, to then link into a Wystrix, to give you the Tiger to your hand, because sometimes you need that, and that's why you're running 2. Now, of course, you can just also say the reason for grind games, but for the most part is like, this is just sometimes a combo piece. This could be Boral Sword again, or Boral Sword could be access code again if you have it. I just don't, so Boral Sword in the next best thing. Appaloosa is just Appaloosa. Wriggle is that, again, because of the access code play, like you just use this because of the a link 3 that you can climb with. Bear Broom is just here to search the Revolt. It's sometimes you use the first effect, but you use the second one, and you want to use this as your last effect to not lock yourself only to Tri-Brigades, obviously, so do keep that in mind. Ferrijit is just amazing for special summoning one of the Tri-Beast from your hand, which is great, and also she can fix your hand by drawing a card and put a 1 in the bottom of your deck. Wystrix is just an amazing link monster, which can basically get you the Zephyr's the Elite or Raider's Wing out of your deck, and then if you use an effect of an Xyz Raid Raptor monster, you can also just set a Soul Shave Force directly from your deck, which giving you the Infinity, and then Dragon Lords is one of the cards that you just summon with the effects of the Tri-Brigades themselves to basically banish 2 and summon the copy of Dragon Lord. But that does it for the links. For the Xyz, we have 2 copies of Force Strix, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, 1 copy of Tiger King, 1 copy of Time Thief Redoer, and then the 1 copy of Infinity. The only one that I'm kind of like unsure about is probably Time Thief Redoer, and also in the extra deck, of course, Wriggle, the Link 3, which sometimes I want to summon Great All Mirage and stuff like that, but for the most part, the extra deck has been working really, really well, so that's fine. Infinity is because of Soul Shave Force. Time Thief Redoer is because it's helping you sometimes trigger Emerald Bird and the Yellow Marten if you need to. Tiger King, we've been over this. This is allowing you to basically set the Tenki as part of the combo. Abyss Dweller is just a generic, really good rank 4 monster. Again, you can just cut this even if you wanted to, like an Evil Swarm Nightmare, which is actually that's something that you can do because you could make consistently with 2 Darks, surprisingly, because you have the Lunalight engine, so sometimes you actually can do that. And then 2 Force Tricks for the search of your Winged Beasts monsters. But that does it for the deck profile and does it as a whole before we jump into the, the applications for Master Duel. So yeah, this is kind of like the list. Hope you enjoyed it. Now we're going to jump into that and then go into the combo section. Alright, so for the Master Duel changes, I will have the deck list on screen a little bit, although I'm not really 100% sure if that's the best thing to do. But basically, what do we have is the following changes. For Master Duel specifically, obviously, there are different formats, and also you have Tiger at 3, and you also have the Tenki at 3. So I'm going to cut specifically Ash Blossom and Deeded Crow, of course, specifically, to basically add the 2 additional copies from each of the cards, basically raising the consistency very, very much. Foolish Burial Goods is also going to be cut down by 1 to allow us to add to our deck the other Fire Formation card that I want to add, due to the fact that, well, if we are going to open up with a Fire Formation card, opening with a Tiger King is actually kind of useless. But I do want to make Tiger King actually useful, so I do run the Fire Formation counter trap. Now, of course, you can also run the Tensu if you want the additional normal summon, but I do like the counter trap just to giving us an additional interruption if we need to. And, of course, we do need to still control the Tiger King, but it's not really the end of the world if we need to do that. The other thing is that we're going to cut the Infinite Impermanence for a copy or 3 copies of Max C, because I think these are the most, generically good ones. And the Red Reboot is going to be cut down for the copy of, or should I say, second copy of Cold by the Grave. And of course, the Boral Sword is going to be changed in the extra deck for an Access Code, because Access Code, like I mentioned, is a little bit better. But that does it for the deck list changes. Not really a whole lot of changes, but because of the consistency more, I do think that you want to make these little changes. Of course, this is not a finalized list. You can change things however you like to after you test with them, but I think this is just a good way to start. But with that out of the way, let's move on to the combo section. Welcome to the combo section. In the combo section, I'm going to share with you 4 combos that I think are very important for you to know playing this deck. Now, I'm going to start off with a very, very simple combo first, which is Lunalight Colloidal Chick plus a Fractal, which all of the combos are going to be 2-card combos, by the way, because this deck can actually do really, really crazy things. But the point is that I'm going to ump the difficulty of the combos as we'll move along, so do pay attention as we'll just play this combos. So let's get started. Something's also going to start with the Fractal effect, sending himself to the graveyard to send a copy of Kit to the graveyard, which then will send a copy of Narval into our graveyard, which then will add to our hand once again the copy of Fractal, to just giving us the ability to fill our graveyard with Tri-Brigade names. So now we're going to normal summon the Fractal, use this effect, banish 2 of your names in the grave. It doesn't really matter which 2, I recommend to banish most of the time the Narval and the Kit. And then we're going to special summon from our extra deck, due to his own effect, the Ferrigit. We're now going to use Ferrigit effect, normal, or should I say special summon Colloidal Chick. Colloidal Chick effect will trigger and send a Yellow Marten to our graveyard. Now, in this particular point, we're going to exceed these 2 because these are 2 Beast Warriors, and we're going to go into Tiger King. Tiger King effect will trigger, give us the ability to set the Fire Formation Tenki, and then we're going to activate the Tenki and add from our deck to our hand the copy of Tiger. We're now going to activate Tiger in our scale and use this effect to revive the Yellow Marten as our only applicable target in our graveyard. We're now going to use all of these 3 monsters to link summon into Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess with 3 counters on it, just giving us 3 interruptions already. We're now going to use the effect of Yellow Marten in our graveyard to bounce this back to our hand. Special summon the Yellow Marten in defense position, activate once again the copy of Lunalight Tiger, and then special summon, well, the copy of Colloidal Chick and use its effect to send to our graveyard the copy of Emerald Bird to just have another card taken out of our deck. Now we're going to take these 2 and we're going to Xyz summon into Abyss Dweller. And there you go. This is a 4 interruption combo with an Abyss Dweller and 3 interruptions of Appaloosa. Abyss Dweller is actually really good in this format, so I do recommend to run it. Now, of course, you could run also things like Evil Swarm, Nightmare, because these two are dark, but I do think Abyss Dweller just does a better job as an overall. But that does it for combo number 1. Let's move on to combo number 2. Alright, so for our second combo, we're going to open up once again with Kaleido Chick. However, the second card in our hand is going to be Lunalight Perfume. And this particular combo is going to allow us to basically end up on the same end board, plus a particular interruption, which we'll get into it. So let's get started. Start things off, we're going to normal summon the Kaleido Chick. Kaleido Chick effect will trigger, send to her, or should I say, we trigger the effect, send the Yellow Marten, and then we're going to activate the effect of Perfume, revive the Yellow Marten out of our graveyard. We're then going to Xyz with these two into Raid Raptor 4 Strix, and then we're going to detach specifically the Kaleido Chick, not the Yellow Marten, the Kaleido Chick, and we're going to add from our deck to our hand the copy of Zephrys the Elite. We're then going to activate the Perfume in our graveyard, banish it, send Zephrys to the grave, and then add from our deck to our hand the copy of Tiger. We're then going to put Tiger in scale, use its effect to basically special summon the Kaleido Chick, which then will send a second copy of Yellow Marten. Second copy of Yellow Marten effect will trigger to bounce the Tiger and special summon itself in defense position, and then we're going to Xyz with these two into Tiger King. Tiger King effect will set Fire Formation Tenki to our side of the field, and then we're going to basically activate Tenki and add from our deck to our hand the copy of Fractal. We're not going to use Fractal effect, discard, send another copy, or should I say a copy of Kit, a copy of Nerval, and then add to our hand a copy of Fractal, once again, just like the first combo. We're now going to link both of these off into Ferrigit, which will be summoned properly this time, and then use her effect to special summon the Fractal. Fractal effect will banish 2 from our graveyard, which could be the 2 Xyz if you want to, or the Kit and the Narvel. It doesn't really matter. I like to just banish those 2 specifically. I don't know, just like instinct, I guess, at this point. And now we're going to summon to the Link Arrow Ferrigit the Double Dragon Lords. Now we're going to activate Tiger again, and we're going to use her effect to special summon out of our graveyard the Kaleido Chick, and use Kaleido Chick effect one final time to send to our graveyard the Emerald Bird as our final Lunalight monster from the deck. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to take these two specifically and Xyz summon into an Abyss Dweller, and then we're going to use the effect of Zephrys the Elite in our graveyard, bounce the Tiger, special summon itself, take a 400, activate Tiger again, and use her effect to revive any of our Lunalight monsters in our graveyard. It doesn't really matter. We're going to go with Yellow Marten, and then we're going to link all of these 3 off into a copy of Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, with 3 interruptions. And that's how we're going to end this end board. Basically, just the same as the first one, it's just a little bit different due to the fact that we open up with Perfume instead of Fractal. But that does it for combo number 2. Let's move on to combo number 3. Alright, so for our third combo, this is where things are getting more interesting. The third combo is requiring you to open up with Nerval plus Fortish Barrier Goods. Now, the fourth combo, which is basically a better version of this, will basically end you, I believe, with like 7 or 8 interruptions, I just don't really remember. But the point is that this particular combo is still going to end you on like 6 interruptions, which is really good. But the 7s combo is basically going to use more of your extra deck, but is going to be a little bit more better. You have to wait and see, basically. So let's get started with this. So starting things off, we're going to activate the Foolish Burial Goods, and we're going to send from our deck to the graveyard the Serenade Dance. And then we're going to immediately use the effect of Serenade Dance in our graveyard, send the Nerval, and then special summon Kaleido Chick. Nerval effect will trigger, and we're actually going to add Curus from our deck to our hand, and then we're going to use the effect of Kaleido Chick, send the copy of Yellow Marten to our graveyard. Activate Yellow Marten effect, we're going to bounce the Chick, special summon itself, and then we're going to normal summon Chick once again, and send a copy of Emerald Bird to our graveyard. We're then going to Xyz with these two into our copy, or first copy of 4 Strix, and then detach specifically the Yellow Marden. Of course, you could decide to detach the Colloidal Chick because it really doesn't matter, but I like to kind of like clean my deck out of what are called bricks, so I just did like to specifically detach the Yellow Marden, and we're going to add from our deck to our hand the copies of Raider's Wing. Now we're going to use Kara's effect, discard the Raider's Wing, and special summon it from our hand. Now, in the next combo, we basically do have the luxury to detach the material with the Raider's Wing, to basically get, like, we still have 4 names in the graveyard, so we're still able to do some really cool things. But in this particular case, we only have 4 names in our graveyard, and, like, we want specifically a Beast Warrior, or at least a Lunalight monster, because of Tiger. So we're going to banish 4 names, these 4, unfortunately, we're not going to use this card, unfortunately. And then we're going to special summon directly from our extra deck, due to the effect of Kairos, the copy of Ominous Omen. We're now going to use Ominous Omen and the 4 Strix. Yes, it looks like a waste, but sometimes you do have to use this guy, as I mentioned, as a stepping stool. And we're going to special summon the copy of Y-Strix from our extra deck. Y-Strix effect will trigger as a Chain Link 2, and then we're going to use Chain Link Omen as a Chain Link 1. Actually, it doesn't really matter, but I like to do it that way. We're going to summon Zephyrus and add to our hand the Tiger. We're going to activate Tiger and revive our Colloidal Chick in our graveyard. Use her effect one final time to send another copy of Yellow Marden from our deck to the graveyard, and then proceed to excise with these 2 into a copy of 4 Strix. We're now going to detach specifically Zephyrus from the 4 Strix and add from our deck to our hand the Singing Lanius. That will trigger Y-Strix effect and set to our side of the field the Soul Shave Force. I like to always activate Soul Shave Force last, just in case our opponent think like they want to use Nibiru as the last thing, and make us think like they're playing like mind games with us. It's kind of like a weird thing that I like to do, because like at the very least, if my opponent will Nibiru me at this point, I will at least have this, if they haven't Nibiru'd me yet, and they're waiting for something very specific, so at least I will have that. Regardless, what we're going to do now, we're going to use the effect of Singing Lanius because we control Xyz, special summon. Now we're going to use the effect of Zephyrus, bounce the Tiger to our hand, and special summon itself. Now we're going to take all of these 4 monsters, and we're going to link summon into Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess with 4 interruptions. You heard that correctly. 4 interruptions. And now we're going to activate Tiger and use her effect to basically give us back the copy of Colloidal Chick. Again, we cannot use the effect of Colloidal Chick anymore, but we still need it for a rank 4 of Abyss Dweller out of our extra deck. We're now going to activate the Soul Shave Force after everything, basically cutting our life points to 3,800 instead of 36 with the Zephyrus, which sometimes looks like a little bit of a minor difference, but it is sometimes important. And we're going to Exceed Summon by using the 4 Strix in our graveyard to Cyber Dragon Infinity. And that does it for the end board. We're getting 4 interruptions Appaloosa, Infinity as an Omni Negate, and Abyss Dweller as another interruption to the graveyard. But that does it for the 3rd combo. Now let's move on to the most complicated one, which is the 4th combo. Alright, so for our 4th and final combo, we're going to start once again with the Foolish Burial Goods, and instead of Nerval, we're opening up with the kit. Now, in this particular combo, in order to also get the Revolt to our hand, we do need the additional random card in our hand, but for the most part, we just use these 2 cards. This is just the additional one to just have a card that we can put on the bottom of our deck. So now let's get started. Start things off, we're going to start with the Foolish Burial Goods, send to our graveyard the Serenade Dance, and then use Serenade Dance immediately, just like before, send the kit, and special summon from our deck the copy of Colloidal Chick. Kit effect will trigger this time to send the copy of Nerval, and then we're going to get to our hand the copy of Kairos. Now, because of this, unlike the Nerval combo, we did get the additional name in our graveyard, which is going to make the combo a little bit more fluid, and essentially basically going to make us almost use our entire extra deck to make a 7 interruption combo, which is really cool. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to use the effect of Colloidal Chick finally to send a copy of Yellow Marden from our deck to the graveyard, and then use the Yellow Marden effect, bounce the Colloidal Chick to our hand. We're now going to normal summon Colloidal Chick again, send to our graveyard the copy of Emerald Bird, and then we're going to Exceed with these 2 into a copy of 4 Strix. 4 Strix effect, this time it doesn't really matter which one we detach, but we're onto our hand once again the Raider's Wing. Curse effect, we're going to send the Raider's Wing from our hand to grave, and special summon it to our side of the field. This time, like I mentioned, because we have the additional name, we actually can use Raider's Wing, and we're going to detach specifically the other material from our 4 Strix, and now we're going to use the effect of Karis to banish all the 4 materials that are not Collider Chick from our graveyard to special summon once again, just like the third combo, the copy of Ominous Omen. Ominous Omen plus 4 Strix, these are 2 winged beasts, and we're going to special summon the Y Strix out of our extra deck. Now we're going to use the effect of Y Strix as a Chain Link 2, and that is a Chain Link 1. Again, summon Zephyrus and add to our hand the copy of Tiger. We're going to Xyz with these 2 into the second copy of Force Strix, and we're going to use the effect again to detach a material, add to our hand the Singing Lanius, and set to our side of the field the Soul Shave Force. Now, in this particular combo, you actually want to use Soul Shave Force as one of your last things, because otherwise your entire field is going to be very, very cloggy, and that's something that you're going to notice in the rest of this combo, because your field is going to get so cloggy so fast if you're not going to manage your spots correctly. So now, actually, instead of summoning the Singing Lanius, because that will clog our field, we're going to use instead the Tiger and use her effect to basically special summon the Collider Chick. Use Collider Chick effect one final time, send from our deck to the graveyard the copy of Yellow Marten, and then use the effect of Zephyrus, bounce the Tiger, and special summon itself. Next, what we're going to do is that we're going to use the effect of Tiger again. Actually, we're going to summon this here just because we do need this zone, and then we're going to special summon the Yellow Marten due to the effect of Tiger one last final time out of our graveyard. We're now going to Xyz with these 2 into our copy of Tiger King, and then we're going to use Tiger King to set to our side of the field the Fire Formation Tenki, and then activate it to add to our hand the copy of Fractal. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to take 2 monsters from our side of the field just to, again, clear the board to summon the copy of Ferrigit to our side of the field, and then use Ferrigit effect to special summon the Fractal. Now, we're going to take Ferrigit and the copy of, what is his name again? Karis, because we don't really need them on our side of the field anymore. And we're going to summon the copy of Bear Broom to our side of the field. Now, Bear Broom effect is basically, you can discard 2 cards and then basically target one of your banished level 4 lower beast, Beast Warrior or Winged Beast from our grave, from your there, and special summon it. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, then it's lock you to the, cannot special summon Tri-Brigades. Now it doesn't really lock you to that yet, because we didn't use the grave effect yet. Again, now we could use the effect of Fractal. We're going to use this effect right now to banish 2 names from our graveyard, which are going to be the Ferrigit and I guess the Karis, because I just want to. And we're going to special summon from our extra deck the copy of Tiger King, or should I say not Tiger King, double Dragon Lords. Now, we do control an Xyz monster. We could special summon the Singing Lanius, and now we're going to take the Fractal and the Singing Lanius to special summon from our extra deck the copy of Abyss Dweller. We're now finally going to activate the effect of, well, Soul Shave Force, because this is the last time we can actually do that. We're going to special summon from our graveyard the copy of 4 Strix, and then basically special summon from our extra deck the copy of Infinity on top of it. Next, what we're going to do is that we're going to link 1, 2, and 3. Yes, you could technically go only with these 2 if you want to negate Appaloosa, but I actually want 3. And we're going to go into 3 negate Appaloosa to our side of the field. And now we're going to finally use Bear Broom effect, add to our hand the copy of Revolt, and put this card on the bottom of our deck, and set Revolt to our side of the field. And there you go. Now, in this particular combo, again, you ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 interruptions. However, you also ended up with another one due to the effect of Revolt that you can use during the opponent's turn to special summon, because they were properly summoned, the Bear Broom and the Ferrigit, and then link them off during the opponent's turn into your copy of Ominous Omen, which giving you the additional 7th interruption. Now, as you can see from this, we only have 3 card lists in our extra deck, but this combo is basically the most nuts combo that you can perform if you just want to go just all in into the combo itself, and that's why it's also just took much more than the other combos. But that does it for combo number 4 and does it for the combo section as a whole. Hope you enjoyed. Now let's move on into the next deck choices. Alright, so for the next deck choices, we have a few of them. Basically, we have, once again, all of the 3 options from last week, which are supposed to be Marine Cess, which is Harpy, and Leerlusk. And then for our 4th and final option that I'm going to throw in, I'm actually going to throw in an old favorite of mine, and that is going to be Raid Raptors, because I know that there are some people who actually wanted to see Raid Raptors again, so the 4th option is Raid Raptors. Maybe we're just going to do an entire few months of, or should I say a month or so, of just the Tri-Beast archetypes. Not related, obviously, for Tri-Brigades, all of them, but just Tri-Beast archetypes. That's honestly up to you, and we'll see about that. But that does it for the deck choices and does it for the deck profile as a whole. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do. Remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.